Oh. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rotary. I'm your president, Jane Klingman Scott. Today, we will have a program from Avishar, and we will have student guests from Holton. See, I was just testing you to see if everyone remembered that. You did very well. Thank you. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, a little bit of literacy, and then a reflection from Joan Smith. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This week, I had a lovely conversation with one of our board members about his habit of reading history and how that is important in his life. Got me to thinking about literacy and history. And this is what Soren Kierkegaard said about it. Life must be lived forward, but it can only be understood backwards. And from Confucius, study the past if you would define the future. So Joni. I don't want to bring you up after historical event, but you know, we do share a lot of history.
Yes, we do. Well, I don't know how aware all of you are of our Jewish brothers and sisters and the anti-Semitism that's happening, but I want to hold all of our brothers and sisters in our community and our nation up in prayer and faith. That things will turn around. And in that spirit, I have a Jewish prayer to offer. How wonderful, O Lord, are the works of your hands. The heavens declare your glory, and arch of sky displays your handiwork. In your love, you have given us the power to behold the beauty of your world, robed in all its splendor. The sun and the stars, the valleys and hills, the rivers and lakes all disclose your presence. The roaring breakers of the sea tell of your awesome might. The beasts of the field and the birds of the air bespeak your wondrous will. In your goodness, you have made us able to hear the music of the world. The voices of loved ones reveal to us that you are in our midst. A divine voice sings through all creation. Amen.
Thank you, Jude. That was beautiful. Enjoy your lunch. We will reconvene in about 10 minutes.
Why the what?
We have some lovely guests today. So I would like to introduce them. We need another noise canceling thing. So if Robert Mathis and Eric Seifert and Monica could come up with their guest, and then we'll have our lovely Holton Couturier come.
Good morning. Good. If you can stand right in between us. Are you ready?
There we go.
You are for us. Okay.
Yes, you are. Right on.
Hi, everyone. I am Monica Turnbull, the CEO of Boys and Girls Club of the Muskegon Lakeshore, and I am honored and privileged to introduce our newest member of our staff. This is Richard Vanderput McPherson. He is our Resource Development Director, working hard on our capital campaign and all things Boys and Girls Club. So welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
Judging from the response I got in the lunch line here, maybe John should introduce me, but I'm very pleased to bring to the club today John Seifert, our new city manager, City of Muskegon. Muskegon native, been out and about different places, also ran our downtown development authority for a couple of years. Moving downtown to Clay Street, right across the street from me, please welcome John Seifert.
Well, we weren't invited up, but John asked me to introduce. This is Emma Kriegbaum. She is our youth exchange student from Austria. She did a presentation for us a few weeks ago, and just a wonderful young lady.
Here, scooch on in so we can get all of us in here. You can see on the map. Perfect. Good afternoon, Rotary. Please join me in welcoming our guests from Holton High School. Not sure what happened to my voice right there. To introduce two of their seniors is Michelle McCormick. She is the counselor at the high school.
Hello, Rotarians. Thank you very much for inviting us to be your guest today. I am Michelle McCormick, the school counselor of Holton Public Schools. I am joined today by Tegan Bain, our 2023 salutatorian, and Kate Consemius, our 2023 valedictorian. Before I ask these exceptional students to introduce themselves, I would like to take a brief moment to fill you in on a couple of Holton's latest highlights. As you know, Holton is a small rural school that is known for its outstanding faculty, small class sizes, and high quality facilities. This year, we added geometry and construction to our course selections. In this class, students learn hands-on math through partnerships with the Career Tech Center, local lumber businesses, and community members. At Holton, we also have outstanding partnerships with Health West and Hackley Community Care. These resources connect students and families with mental health supports that improve academic and life outcomes. A recent accomplishment that we are especially proud of is the addition of a school resource officer. With the support from Blue Lake and Cedar Creek townships, we now have an on-campus officer to improve the safety and security of our school and to build positive relationships between students and local law enforcement. Lastly, Holton continues to be a small but mighty community that supports students to learn, lead, serve, and launch successfully into post-secondary positions. Rotarians, I would like to thank you again for asking us to join you today. It is now my privilege to introduce you to Tegan Bain, Holton High School's 2023 salutatorian.
Thank you. Hello, I am Tegan Bain, Holton High School's 2023 salutatorian. I've gone to Holton for my whole life, and I've felt connected to the community since it's so small and supportive. Throughout my education, I've participated in sports such as football, basketball, and track. Football is my favorite as I've played all 4 years in high school, and I was more interested in it over the other options. I have also participated in some National Honor Society community service, such as cleaning up the town's graveyard. I'm going to the Career Tech Center in Muskegon, and I'm in this program called Biotech Engineering, where we are directly involved with the disabled community, and we invent solutions to their specific struggles to help their lives more enjoyable. After high school, I'm thinking of getting my general credits at MCC with the Promise, or going to Aquinas with the scholarships they've given. I'm thinking about pursuing a health-centered career, but as of right now, I'm not completely decided on what my future plans are. Whatever I do, though, I want to positively contribute to the community or society. Next, I would like to introduce Kate Consemius, Holton High School's 2023 valedictorian.
Thank you. As they've mentioned, I'm Kate Consemius. I'm the valedictorian this year at Holton. I have also been going to Holton my entire life. I started there as a preschooler. One thing I really love about Holton is that I have been able to grow up with all of my classmates. So I've known most of them since we were tiny, and it's really impacted the way my high school career has been, knowing all of them forever. So I am also a member of the track team. I play basketball and then I run cross country as well. And I am the president of our National Honor Society. When I am not at school or playing sports, which is not much time, I do have 2 part-time jobs that I have had for quite a few years, and I have learned a lot. And through those jobs, I have learned what I want to study in college, and I'm hopefully going to be attending Michigan State to pursue a degree in human resource management.
Thank you, Holton, giving us an insight into not only the students, but the whole school community culture. It's lovely. We have as our speaker today is going to be introduced by Lisa Tyler, and I'll let her tell us what we're going to hear about.
Thank you, President Jane. I have the pleasure of introducing Mary Boyd, who is with Avasure, which is our presentation today. And it is my honor really to introduce Mary. She is one of my closest friends and my longtime mentor. Mary is the Vice President of Customer Experience at Avasure. She excels at strategy and business development, customer service, and is a tremendous asset to their team. Mary leads the teams responsible for implementation as well as ongoing clinical and operational program support. And I'm honest, I have no idea what that means. So I'm excited to hear all about what they do. But before joining their team in April of 2021, Mary worked in healthcare administration for more than 30 years. I think there were probably a fair amount of people in this room who didn't necessarily know that Mary wasn't at Trinity anymore. She hasn't been for a bit. She completed her career at Trinity Health as the executive consultant, leading the installation of Avasure Telesitter program across the Trinity system. This was deployed across 45 hospitals and included construction of 2 regional hubs to monitor patients. The project was completed in record time during COVID, which is no small feat, allowing for increased safety of patients and staff during this crucial time. At the time of this work effort, Trinity's installation of 435 devices was the largest implementation Avasure had ever supported. Mary worked, before coming to Avasure, Mary worked in a variety of roles with increasing responsibility across finance, health, hospital operations, medical groups, and clinically integrated networks at Trinity Health, for Trinity Health in Muskegon, West Michigan, and the Michigan region. Prior to that, she was the COO and CFO at United Memorial Hospital in Greenville. She also worked at Mercer Medical Center in Trenton, New Jersey, and U.S. Steel Corporation. She's done all of that in the very tiny amount of time since she graduated with her Bachelor of Science from Northern Michigan University, and then got, yay, see, Mary, somebody's there with you. And she also got her Master's in Business Administration from Baker College. Mary was the recipient of the Athena Lakeshore Leadership Award in 2018, has received recognition from our own club as a Paul Harris Fellow in 2017, was named Young Careerist in 2008, and there's probably many others I could go into. She is a current board member of Senior Resources of West Michigan, yay, a member of the Greater Muskegon Service League, and a past board member for organizations like the American Red Cross, United Way of the Lakeshore, and the Baker College Board of Regents. Mary and her husband, Bob, have been married for nearly 40 years, she said, and still smiling, and are the very proud parents of 2 sons with, quote, exquisite taste in choosing a wife. And they are immensely proud, as they should be, of their identical twin grandsons, Robert and William, who were born in July of 2021, and they're 2 of the cutest little boys you ever want to see. I happen to know that that her primary joy in life is spending time with her family, spending summers at their cottage, riding on Bob's motorcycle with him, and traveling when they can. She did a fabulous recent trip to Alaska with a bunch of friends, and perhaps she likes to drink a glass of wine with friends on occasion. My pleasure to introduce Mary Boyd.
you know, Mike has me on such a tight timetable. I was a little worried that Lisa was going to use up all my time. I don't know where she got all that information because I only provided a very small snippet of that. So thank you so much for allowing me to share the great work that's being done by Avasure across our health systems in the U.S. It's been a real change for me working for a national not-for-profit healthcare system into a small for-profit company. But one of the things that draws people to Avasure and keeps them there is the commitment to mission and doing meaningful work every day. And so I hope in what I share with you today that will be passed on about how important this company is to our national healthcare system. So Avasure, here we go. Down arrow. Okay. What do? We're a turnkey solution vendor. We design, manufacture, deploy, and support hardware, which I'll show some examples of. We also develop the software and then support the implementation of hardware and software through clinical program, data analytics, and a very strong technical team. This platform addresses all virtual care models, which in days of COVID and staff shortages, virtual care has become very commonplace, and they nearly eliminate adverse events such as falls, harm to staff, self-harm of patients to themselves, and serve as workforce multipliers. I think we're all aware of the acute shortages in nursing and other clinical roles, and Avasure is a solution that helps to mitigate those demands on hospitals. So here to the left, you see the design, manufacture, deployment, and support is what we do, and I'll show you some examples of how that is in use. And our primary product, if you will, was telesitter applications, which is, so in hospitals, when you have patients who are at risk of fall or self-harm or other safety situations, it's required that you put in a one-to-one telesitter or a one-to-one sitter who is an individual, could be a nurse, could be an aide, could be a non-licensed person, 24/7. Very costly to do, but done so to keep patients safe. What the Avasure system does is put one person behind a video screen with a device in the patient's room where they can communicate with the patient, they can visualize the patient, they can operate a stat alarm to call staff to the room if a unsafe situation is about to occur. And that telesitter can monitor 16 patients at once. So you can see the immediate payback to organizations by implementing this telesitter solution. They can reduce the number of staff and improve their productivity. To the bottom there, you see remote family. We do help support family who may be remote and or in the room, keeping them updated on the situation, do typical telemedicine. But one of the new things that we're really moving into is virtual nursing. So because of the nursing shortage, again, it's hard to have, one nurse seeing, 5 to 7 patients, depending on the type of, nursing unit that they're employed in. And now with virtual nursing, we can, with our Verify solution, monitor up to 38 patients. So you can see that some of these tools really are beneficial to hospital in today's climate. So Avasure had some humble beginnings. I'll talk about Brad Playford, our original founder, here in a minute, but he started a company called ROK, and they dealt with security cameras and time and attendance hardware. And if you know Brad, and I know many of you do, he is a very creative guy. And while working in one of our area hospitals here in West Michigan, he was approached about doing a camera that could be placed in a patient's room. And that was the birth of Avasure. They deployed this device, it worked, and that is the base from which Avasure was created. So that was back in 2007, 2008. 2011 is when telesitter really started to take off. In 2013, they restructured to Avasure Holdings. So you may hear this term sometimes Avasys. That was the original name. It's now Avasure. And we grew from 36 employees back in 2014 to, as of this week, 249 full-time employees. So significant growth. And I can tell you, this number is going to be much higher within the next 12 months. So we're ever growing, improving, and developing. So I think I talked about this, that, you know, in telehealth, it's become very commonplace just because of, you know, clinical isolation and to promote efficiency. So a traditional telehealth is a one-to-one, a provider and a patient, and, you know, might provide 45 minutes, up to 45 minutes of care. And in what I described with the video monitoring with the telesitter, that can be improved, and one person can be caring for 16 patients on a continuous basis. So you can see where the quality and the efficiency comes in. And this is what the screen looks like with a telesitter in a typical hub. Some of the features of the system is that it's got a 360-degree camera. It's 24-time optical zoom, so you can zoom in on a patient's bedside monitors to look at their vitals. There's two-way audio option, and also you can, a day and night feature. So when the lights are out and the patient's sleeping, the camera already automatically adjusts so that the monitoring attendant can continue to monitor that patient for safety. So this was what we call our classic device. Very functional, but not beautiful. I'm thinking that many of our nurses and others gave input, and so the birth of the Guardian device. So you can see this is what's wheeled into the patient's room to do the telesitter. To the right is our one of our wall units. We don't sell a lot of these. And then to the left is new hardware that's beginning to be sold and will be implemented in 2023. This is called the Guardian Access device, and it actually displays what's being viewed by the camera on the television that's already in the patient's room. So lower cost, and really hoping to spread the safety feature, and probably many more use cases that this can be accommodating. And to date, we're probably in 5 to 10% of the hospital beds within a hospital. And our hope is that the Guardian Access will bring this safety feature to nearly every bedside in hospitals. So the mobile devices, you've seen that picture. The one on the right there is the two-way device. So you can see on the first one, there's two-way audio. The attendant can hear the patient can hear the attendant, but you only have visualization from the monitoring attendant to the patient. And with the two-way, it enhances the experience by having the patient be able to see who's speaking to them. Because we have had, some confused patients like, where's that voice coming from? Is God talking to me or what? So there's pretty funny stories around that. To the right, you already saw the wall unit, but to the right of the slide, we have ceiling installations. These are typically in like behavioral health units where, can see where a Guardian device could be used as a weapon, could also be used for self-harm. And so in some instances, the ceiling devices make more sense. So, a lot to be proud of. I've only been with the company less than 2 years, but like I said, people come there and stay there because of the great culture, but pride in the work that we do. And that's evidenced by the customers that we serve. So you can see here some pretty prestigious logos in healthcare that we serve, and really in all categories of size. The largest, the US News and World Report best, the Magnet recognized, which is where nursing really excels in what they do and proves their quality and efforts. And as well as academic hospitals are the locations where we continue to serve. Well, this is the one Mike was like, this slide's going to take forever. When I reviewed it, I didn't realize there was animation built in by our marketing team, but just a snapshot of, Our reach is across the country. It continues to grow. We're 25% ahead of plan this year with sales, but there's also increasing competition. Avasure is the market leader in the telesitter space, moving forward to continue that in the virtual nursing space, but we're not resting on our laurels. So I think I've really covered much of this, that the telesitter was really to lower labor costs and to promote safety, and talked about things such as patient falls or self-harm. But it's amazing that some of the things that monitor techs see with family members who are abusing their patient, their loved, well, maybe not loved one, their family member who is in the hospital. And so there's really just amazing work that is accomplished by having this monitor in the room. And now, as I said, we're expanding into virtual nursing. And in fact, was on a call yesterday with, think of this acute care hospital, usually has a very small, if any, pediatric inpatient population. With RSV, they have, their care units overflowing with, severely ill or critically ill patients, and no way to keep up with that with staffing. And so we are working on an accelerated implementation to put devices in their critical care rooms so that they can have one nurse seeing 12 to 16 patients and monitoring them. And you can imagine the comfort that that brings to the family, but the pressure that it takes off the hospital in their staffing situation. So proven results are the things that continue to support Avasure's growth. This is just a quick copy of the leadership team that I'm pleased and proud to serve alongside. 13 of us. It's grown from 6 who were with Avasure when I joined, and 7 new team members, including in the upper left-hand corner there, our CEO, Adam McMullen, joined in March of this year. And so I think people are aware that we went through, Brad sold the business to private equity firm, and Adam was recruited by that group to lead us. And I think I've also shown enough pictures and talked about the evolution of our product roadmap. And then again, just highlighting from back in 2009, when we had 36 employees in that one hospital in Grand Rapids, proud to say it was St. Mary's Mercy. And to today in 2022 with over 1,000 hospitals and nearly 250 employees. So, I talked about the transition from in my career of working in not-for-profit healthcare, where we had a very strong mission and it was a motivator to all of us, and didn't think it would be the same going to this company, but we have a mission. We help people keep people safe. And with all the results that we see, and we share great catches from our customers with our team in monthly and quarterly meetings, it really does bring motivation to what you're doing. And this is an eye chart. So instead of explaining this, I'm going to ask Mike to run a quick video. I think you have a vision of what the telesitter does and what we're doing with virtual nursing, which is basically telemedicine. But the Connect or the Verify application is just about a 2-minute video that I thought really brings home what it is that our team does on a daily basis.
Excellent patient care takes more than scheduling procedures or making a diagnosis. It takes effective, ongoing communication. And when it's done well, healthcare systems can improve patient safety, save costs, and transform patient outcomes. Give your team the support they need with Avasure Verify. It's an extra layer of virtual care to assist the important work of your bedside staff. With real-time continuous monitoring, Verify can help identify problems quicker and improve patient outcomes. And it already comes standard with your software subscription and gives you access to the full Avasure 360 suite of solutions. Avasure Verify is a workforce multiplier used independently or to complement other centralized tools. And with it, clinicians from a nurse's station or centralized hub can visualize patients and quickly respond to triggers. Whether it's a sepsis alert from the electronic health record, a cardiac alarm, or a request for input from a novice nurse, clinicians can quickly and easily communicate with both patients and providers through AvaSure Verify. The software can also be used to validate vital signs of high-risk patients and help document and support bedside staff from a remote location and in a variety of settings. AvaSure Verify uses the same high-resolution audio-visual platform as the evidence-based Telesitter solution. With the high-definition camera, clinicians can clearly see and assess the patient, just as if they were in the room. The continuous stream of video offers intermittent monitoring, and staff can see up to 38 patients from a single screen. For greater detail, they can select the thumbnail and pan, tilt, or zoom the camera as needed. In those times when communication matters the most, empower your team. Give them the tools they need to build better patient relationships and improve outcomes with AvaSure Verify.
Thanks, Mike. So those 38 little squares that you saw around the outside are what we call thumbnails, and the large one in the middle is where the monitoring attendant or the nurse can click on that and blow up that individual patient's room to, communicate or to have visualization. So it's kind of a unique tool in our line of work. So, here's another one with, try to quickly, these are all of our departments, and you're seeing those highlighted in yellow are the ones that I have the privilege of leading, which help our patients take handoff from sales, go through the clinical and technical implementation, and then through ongoing support. Not on this list is a new department that just was formed a few weeks ago, and that's called product management. So we now have someone who's really taking staff and customer input and really helping to drive our technology roadmap. And here's our beloved NIMS building. I think many of you were aware of Brad's, vision and remodeling of this, and it became our corporate headquarters. And I had the privilege of having a beautiful office at this site. AvaSure has decided to expand its footprint in Grand Rapids. Our manufacturing facility is being expanded, and we will likely have corporate offices in downtown Grand Rapids very soon. So we are moving out of this building. Brad purchased it back, and if you know him, he's got some creative ideas about its future. AvaSure continues to lease some space. We provide 24/7 technology support to our customers, and so to duplicate and assure that we never are without that support, we have a site in Grand Rapids, and there will continue to be one here in Muskegon as well. So we're still supporting economic development and employment in Muskegon. So that's a little bit about AvaSure. I hope you found it useful, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Ooh, and I didn't run out of time. Any questions?
Right over here, Mary.
Oh, okay.
I felt isolated. I felt cold watching the patient in that. I see how it benefits the doctors and the families feel comfortable. How do the patients feel about this?
I'd love to share some great catches with you. There was a patient who was very anxious about being in the hospital, was acting out, was, tearful, and also was having problems sleeping. And the monitoring attendant, recognizing this, sang the patient to sleep. There have been other things where, someone was a chain smoker and obviously not allowed to do that in the hospital. The monitoring attendant said, cut up a white plastic straw and make it look like a cigarette. Let him use that. And the man felt like he had his fix. So it's all about the skills and talents of the person behind that camera. And so the people who do it well really do connect with the patient and make them feel cared for, even with the technology. Mhm. Great, thank you.
As you can imagine, I've probably got a dozen questions for you, Mary. I'll just ask one and follow up because I want the answer to the education one. I've heard that Brad had looked at this, Muskegon Public Schools and other places. How does this kind of technology work within a classroom setting?
Brad would probably be much better prepared to discuss that than I would, or was there somebody from the school system here? Okay. I think it was to monitor for behaviors so that they knew kind of where to focus their attention. You think about the nurse to many patients, you've got our teachers with many students, and how could things like artificial intelligence and you know, monitoring all those behaviors and, you know, what led up to them, how to avoid situations. I think those are some of the things that Brad and I talked about, but haven't really discussed it with him recently. Jim.
Is this on?
Yeah. Yep.
The concept is phenomenal. The growth is exciting and cool that you're part of it. So that's really good. I'm curious, are there any international facilities at this point? And if so, where? If not, what's the game plan?
Canada. We have, I believe, one installation. Much of it is the financing of healthcare is very different in Europe. They don't have the financial resources necessarily to implement the technology, but I think it's on the roadmap, but there's still more for us to do in the US. I've heard mostly financial, but we would have to work through regulatory issues as well. Yes.
I liked what you said about the skill of the person behind the screen. Does Avasure get into actually training the hospitals on, you know, I don't know if they actually gave that guy voice lessons or whatever, but hopefully he could sing.
Yeah, yeah. We don't currently, but we are being asked by our customers to do so. Just like everything else in healthcare, staffing at the, sometimes we have what we call a hub and spoke. So when I implemented this at Trinity, we had 2 hubs and they monitored each about 45 hospitals. And so currently, some of our customers can't use all of their devices because they don't have the staff behind the cameras. So we have been asked by nursing leaders across the country to develop a curriculum to kind of have a career path to, you know, these are entry-level jobs that they compete with people going to work in fast food restaurants and, you know, those types of things. It's not high paying, but there is some real high job satisfaction in the work, but so we are looking at developing curriculum, certification programs, and those kind of things to help. I didn't mention on one of the slides, we have developed a partnership with a company called Equum, and they are a staffing solution. So they have a large hub in Nashville, and they can contract. We've introduced them to some of our customers to try and help support their needs. They were originally a physician telemedicine and now a nursing staffing solution, and they're getting into the virtual monitoring attendance.
Mary, I imagine most, if not all of us, have parents or other loved ones needing rehab or assisted living. Are you moving into that space?
We are in some living centers, in fact, doing a pilot at 2 sites within Trinity right now. Again, reimbursement is much different from the acute care setting to long-term care, which makes it a challenge. But those patients also, or those residents, excuse me, change of language there, often are encouraged to be in communal rooms, et cetera, during the day. So we are trialing putting one device and being able to monitor many patients, but it's a little bit different model. But yes, we're breaking into that arena. I thought there was no.
You were saying that they were entry-level jobs. Right now, in some areas, the minimum wage is $7.95. Many places, it's not even $15 an hour. Are you making plans for those that are going to have a very responsible job to get more money?
We have playbook, if you will, that we make recommendations to our hospital customers about what others have done to be successful. And that includes the staffing plan, wages, job descriptions, how to connect them with the floor staff to be recognized and felt as a member of the care team, not just a monitoring attendant, but somebody who's really a part of the RN, physician, et cetera. So yeah, we're doing work on that and advocacy for them to have those levels that could retain them by, you become an advanced monitoring tech, a senior monitoring tech. And with that comes additional compensation. So I haven't gotten the hook yet, but thank you so much.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling safer already. This is great. Mary, we will be making a contribution to the Malala Fund on your behalf as a thank you gift for sharing your experience with us. And now we are on to birthdays. And the first one on the list, my neighbor, Mary Ann Gorman, whose birthday is today. Not to be outstaged by Kathy Moore, whose birthday is tomorrow, along with Meredith Smiley and Jay Wallace. My list is long. Oh my goodness. And dominated by Wallace's, because Josh Wallace has a birthday on December 12th, Melissa Moore on December 13th, Arlen Dean Gaddy on December 14th, and Michael Hansen on December 14th. All of them getting ready for the holidays by having their own personal holiday this week. So if anyone's here and they want to share their birthday joy, we'll sing you a song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Now's the time we are going to get to know one of our own a little bit more personally with our member spotlight. We know all of our lunch mates for the 20 minutes I give you to talk to each other. Not anymore. Not my, you're timing this, but let's get to know someone a little bit more personally. And our member spotlight this week is Annette Jack.
My name is Annette Jack, and I joined Rotary when Jim Fisher invited me as a guest back in, I think, 1999. I joined in 2000. We have 4 adult children, my husband John and I, and 3 grandchildren. I am retired, and so my interests, I'm still so busy, but Rotary obviously is one of my interests. But the last 20 years of my work life, I was, I worked for Manpower Employment Services, and I was a district manager. Very satisfying in a lot of ways because I got to work with a lot of companies and a lot of individuals. I was first chair of the Healing Racism Institutes. That I wasn't chair of the institutes, but the Rotarian focus to get our members to participate in the Healing Racism Institutes. So that was, I did that for a few years. Then I was actually on the board of directors from, I think, 2006 or 7 to 2009. And I was co-chair with Mort Cantor of the Caring Connection Committee for about 10 years. I'm still on that committee, but not the chair. And I'm also now on the Peace Builders Club. And I'm really excited about that because what is more important right now in the world than building peace?
And I have to say, Annette and her husband, John, have been building peace in Muskegon for a long time. So thank you, Annette. Now we have a new member. And so if Melissa Horton would like to come up with your nominee for membership.
Hi, Rotarians. I'm Melissa Horton, and I get to welcome a new Rotarian to Rotary today, and her name's Andrea Riegler. And we have been friends for about 5 years now, and so I'm excited about this. So Andrea is a Muskegon native who left to pursue architectural degrees in Ann Arbor, Salt Lake City, and Denver, Colorado. She has been back in town for about 20 years, working as an architect for many local commercial and residential clients in and around Muskegon. Andrea has 3 children, 2 attending Michigan State University, and 1 recent graduate from the University of Michigan, a house divided. Andrea is passionate about her community and loves living downtown where she can enjoy the amazing arts and cultural district in her backyard. She's excited to participate in Muskegon Rotary, and is especially interested in Rotary's commitment to protection of the environment and natural resources, as well as promoting sustainable solutions to poverty. So I'd like to welcome Andrea.
Yeah, fellow Rotarians and honored guest, the Rotary Club of Muskegon is privileged to have a new member. You are beginning an adventure, a great adventure in leadership, friendship, and service to the community and humanity. The Rotary Club of Muskegon has accepted you as a person of good character and high ethical standards with a heart for service. Your sponsor has invited you to be part of a worldwide organization dedicated to fostering service above self. And it's through your actions that you become a Rotarian. We encourage you to learn about Rotary by actively participating in the club, including attending meetings, social events, and service projects. It is my pleasure to give to you this pin, which your fellow Rotarians in the community will recognize you as a member. And we ask you to wear it proudly. We also like to challenge you to share the gift that has been given to you to be a representative of Rotary and the wider community by sharing the spirit of the 4-way test in your work, your service, and your play, and inviting those you meet along the way to join in this mission. Do you accept this challenge? All right. Thank you. Together as Rotarians, we work to enrich youth, ensure health, develop communities, and promote peace. Please rise and greet our newest Rotarian.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now is the time. We're going to get another lesson in poetic license. Could you be more excited? Oh, homework, yes.
Today, my able assistant is Andy Belo. Oh, I was gonna say, where'd you go? Work in the room, work in the room. This contest, Brave Rotarian Contest, is to raise our awareness of literacy for our president and to support the work of Polio Plus, eradicating polio around the world. So who are we going to say goodbye to first, Andy? Just rip it. It's hard to get them off there.
Some more.
Oh, I mean, and really, the head of literacy, Reed Muskegon. Yeah. It happens. So
I don't even know what this is.
Onomatopoeia. I think you all know what that means. Once you hear it, reading it's something else though. Okay. What is onomatopoeia? Usually how words sound bears no relationship to what they mean. That's not true in the case of onomatopoeia, where words sound like what they are. The English language is littered with these mimicking words, from meowing cats to babbling brooks. So, and here is a poem that uses onomatopoeia. This is by Carl Sandburg. It's one I had not heard of till I found it looking for this. And it's called Honky Tonk in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a jazz affair, drum crashes and cornet razzes, the trombone pony neighs and the tuba jackass snorts. The banjo tickles and titters too awful. The chippies talk about the funnies in the papers, the cartoonists weep in their beer. Ship riveters talk with their feet to the feet of the floozies under the table. A quartet of white hopes mourn with interspersed snickers. I got the blues, I got the blues, I got the blues. And as we said earlier, the cartoonists weep in their beer. Onomatopoeia. And you get to pick another one. Thoughtful consideration here. Oh, down low. And we're saying goodbye to
Belinda. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Brandon Davis.
Oh, Brandon, we're saying a soliloquy to say goodbye to you. Thank you for your support. I think you all know that word. I mean, we all went through high school English. Come on now. So, but a soliloquy is a monologue spoken by a theatrical character that expresses the character's inner thoughts and emotions. So here is an example of a soliloquy, not the whole thing, you know, but just a snippet. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Of course, that's William Shakespeare, and it's from the Scottish play, Macbeth. Thank you. We will see you again next week. Class dismissed.
Okay, so now I'm following up the idiot. Full of sound and fury. But we're going to change that because we just have some nice, placid and helpful announcements. And if Emma wants to come up, then while I make these ordinary announcements. The first one is not ordinary at all, but we are hoping that we get some assistance from this group for January to March. We need people who will be willing to give us a reflection. And if you're one of those people, please see Alan Albert, and we'll get that tied up. Secondly, is next week is our annual dinner. So we're really trying to make this a little special. We'll be having a plated meal. Please feel free to bring your guest. And the business of the annual dinner always includes the election of new members to the board and to the leadership team. And so this year we have a vacancy created by the resignation of Jeff Lewis. Jeff found that his retirement was even busier than his job, so he had to give something up. And so though we regret losing him on the board, Roger Morgenstern has agreed to accept the nomination to fill that vacancy. Another vacancy on the board, a natural vacancy, is going to, the nominated person for that is Brandon Turnbull. And our nomination for our president nominee is David Alexander. So in next week, we will be officially providing the slate to you. If there's any members who wish to enter a nomination, please feel free to do that by contacting me. So now Emma is going to give us an update from North Muskegon.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I love being in the North Muskegon High School. They made me feel really welcome and I made amazing friends. I'll be staying with my host family, the Robs, till January. I will miss them because they're an amazing family. A huge thank you to them. Then you see it on the screen. The first thing we did with our Interact Club is the turkey drop. The Interact classes organized that. And thanks to the many, many donations, including the ones from your club, we were able to collect over 5,000 food items. Here's another picture. That is Jaylee Schultz, our president from our Interact Club, and she helped me to summarize that. So a thank you to her. About Maiden. Maiden is a child, and the North Muskegon Interact Club had him adopted for many, many years now. We just voted as a group to continue to support him through this academic year. This entails paying $38 a month to support him and his education. The next thing we talked about is the El Salvador trip. That is a service trip, and it's in the first week of April 2023. Jack Earn, Jacindia Patrick, and Sophia Lindsay will be attending that trip. Our club has decided to sponsor our attendees by paying an undecided amount, at least a few $100s, to chip in on the $1,300 per person fee. Then, our environmental project. In Cambia, Bella Lindsay has raised thousands of dollars to support the implementation of solar panels and water pumps in a hospital in Gambia. Bella is coming to speak to our club December 16th and to your club January 5th. Our club will be fundraising through the year to donate to the same hospital in collaboration with Bella. The Coat Drive. Our club is collaborating with the Middle School Students Council to collect coats which will be donated to the One Warm Coat organization. We will like to collaborate with your club on this as well. So please, if you have any coats that you don't need anymore, bring them to the next Rotary meeting. Sean will bring them to our high school. That is our Interact Club. You just saw them, and thank you so much for your attention.
I think it's lovely that we invite these children, these young adults from all over the world, and then just put them to work. Thank you, Emma. Now we have our raffle. Thank you, Frank. Oh, yay. All right, yay. I don't know how that works, that we always seem to get a guest leaving with a little bit more than they came in with. That's great. Next week's program, remember, it's going to be our annual dinner, Bring a Guest. We look forward to seeing you, and the program is going to be the Lazarus Man Consulting. And so we will adjourn by saying the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, everybody.